Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Casey Cook. I'm an experienced realtor with Coldwell Banker Realty. I also host a website and a platform where local businesses and people in the community doing good stuff can advertise and promote for free. You can hear all of their stories at www.vista411.com. Today, I'm visiting with Shamelle Reveter from GYSIO Business and Bookkeeping Services. GYSIO stands for Get Your Stuff in Order. They are a full-service business and bookkeeping firm that specializes in collaborating with entrepreneurs, minority, small business owners, nonprofits, and working/performing artists. They help you get your stuff in order so you can focus on your business. So Shamelle, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. This is great. So why don't we start with, in your own words, give us an overview of what GYSIO is and what you're about and what you do.
So GYSIO Business and Bookkeeping is a full-service business and accounting firm. A lot of people think that when they think business, they think, oh, well, you know, maybe she's just going to get my business started and help me register with the Secretary of State. But no, in all actuality, we work a lot with administration.
Okay.
So we help with the foundation aspect of the business. So we will formulate the company, build your standard of procedures. We will build your employee handbook or your company handbook, in addition to handling the most important part of the company, which is bookkeeping. And that is the management of your day-to-day financial transactions that are going in and out of the business.
Very tedious stuff.
Very tedious, very tedious. But hey, we love it. We're very passionate about it. And it's something that I've been doing personally for over 25 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I have been in the industry for over 25 years.
Over 25 years.
Yep.
Okay.
Corporate,
go ahead.
Corporate.
Yeah.
Yes. So corporate, I've been in bookkeeping, administration for over 25 years. I've held positions as assistant controller. I've been an accounting manager, business manager, operations manager. So I have been working with accounting for a lot of years.
Well, when you were describing your services, it was interesting because I think if you're on the website, maybe you get the idea that it's a business starting or maybe just that bookkeeping, but it sounds like there's a kind of from a human resources perspective a broader offering of what you do, a lot of support.
It's a lot of support in the sense of what happens is when you start a business, you don't think about the meticulous things that's required in order to keep the company running efficiently. So that it's not just starting with the Secretary of State or getting your EIN number with the IRS. There's administrative things that have to be done on the back end so that you're running efficiently. So that's your how do I answer the phone call? How do I manage my email, my social media? Every aspect, everything that you can think of as far as how that business is going to run efficiently. How will the customer, come into my business, and what is the clean strategy to get them through the door happy and out the door excited? So every single aspect of that.
Well, I think this is great. I'm a small business owner as a real estate agent, and I know there are things in my business that I really enjoy doing, like this and selling houses, but maybe the inputting and the database and all of that stuff, the day-to-day stuff is a little more challenging. So I think a lot of people overlook that, as you mentioned.
Oh, it's a little shocking because you would think that, and I'll just, focus a little more on bookkeeping. That is our specialty in administration. But you would think that a person would want to understand the way that money is running through their company and set a budget. But a lot of times, just like artists, which is the industry that we focus on, a lot of times what they do is they have the idea and they run full force. And they don't think about, well, do I want clients to think of me as a radical business? Do I want them to think of us as prestige and professional? What type of image? You've got it. What type of image do I want to uphold for my brand, my business? And because you run full force, you don't think about these things, how you can actually display yourself to your target audience or to your followers.
Yeah, I think many of of very successful people, yeah, we get an idea and they focus on that idea, and all the ancillary stuff that goes with it is difficult and often gets neglected.
Yes.
So how did you, is your background and experience in the entertainment industry, how did you focus on this niche?
You know what's so interesting is years ago, I don't know if you recall, it's so different now, but anytime there was an audition, it was in the paper. If there was an audition to be on a television show or to, be in background television, it was in the paper. I was actually registered with an agency that followed those ads and also had contracts with different networks when they needed background actresses or actors or anyone to just fill the space. And just to explain what a background actress is, for the most part, if you don't have a speaking line, you're just kind of filling space. You can get a speaking role or something to that nature, but all I wanted to do was kind of fill the space and be seen, because when you got the opportunity to be background, anytime there was a cut, a commercial break, or anything to that nature, that was your opportunity to meet with a network.
Got it.
So that was the audition time for all of us, all of these up and coming actors, singers, dancers. That's why you may find, a well-known actor or actress in, you may find them sitting in the audience somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, that was their reason, because they wanted the big break
Sure.
during the commercial break. Yeah. So anyway, I did that a lot, and I noticed
So at that point, did you want to be an actress, or did you want to pursue the bookkeeping part and the business part?
I wanted to be an actress.
You wanted to be an actress, okay.
But this is what made me move into, I was already doing bookkeeping at that time. I was in corporate industry as a bookkeeper, but I personally wanted to be in the entertainment industry as an actress, a singer. And so one particular show, and it was When Ben Stein's Money. That's really old. I don't know if you all remember that, but it's an old show, When Ben Stein's Money, and he would always have his dog there. But anyway, I saw how the producers would come out, and this was just the norm. The producers would come out, and we would all be waiting, and some people would be waiting there for hours. They would come out with their clipboard, and they would say, you. They chose everyone that looked the part to be on television, and everybody else was sent home. And it broke my heart. And so I decided it started my journey to just create my own platforms that would house opportunities for artists and people like me who wanted to be on television. And later in that process, I learned that a lot of these artists did not know the business side of things. They were highly functional in their artistry. Zero functional in business. So I took it upon myself. I just had this passion to teach everything I knew, and it was easy because I was already working in corporate America as a bookkeeper.
So you were in bookkeeping in corporate America, so you were getting the business background, the foundation, learning all of those aspects, and then wanting to be an actress. Got it, I see it. And then when that didn't work out, you brought the two together.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not so much that it didn't work out. I think life happened.
Or life happened,
bills to pay. I had bills to pay, and right. So yes,
that's great. Wow, good for you. So it sounds like, is there any specific niche? I mean, your services are broad. Is the niche really bookkeeping? Is that if somebody says, "Hey, what are you really good at?"
So GYSIO Business and Bookkeeping, we focus on bookkeeping, at business administrating and bookkeeping. We like to cater to the working performing artist. Now this working, that's the key word. The working performing artist needs to already have contracts in line. They need to be making over $150K either every 3 months or at least annually, And so these are, I don't know if you all are aware of, these are Tyler Perry's actors. These are Lifetime actors that are just, moving into stardom.
Gotcha.
And so we like to focus on them. And that niche came from my experience in the entertainment industry.
So somebody who's up and coming, maybe experienced some success, got a taste of it and enjoys it and wants to grow it from there, looking for somebody to assist them.
Absolutely.
And obviously do help with the back end business stuff as well.
Absolutely. And so a lot of these artists, they do not have their own companies. They might have a loan out company, but they need some form of business to, transact with these networks.
Sure.
So that's what we do and what we primarily focus on here at GYSIO. The other aspect of things, which we really haven't gone into, so I'll hold off.
Perfectly fine. I read a little bit on your website, so go ahead and touch on it. So you have multiple different businesses that you run, right? So in addition to GYSIO, you've got some other platforms.
We do. So we have an earned media platform. It's Possible Entertainment, and it focuses on underserved entertainment communities.
It's Possible Entertainment. I love it. Okay. Yeah.
And so that platform is to encourage and fuel the underserved entertainment markets with a voice, opportunity. So we interview, we go to their performances, we create performances for them.
Almost like not really a sponsor, but kind of like a supporter mechanism for them.
Yes, and we have resources as well. So all of these little mechanisms that would help them to become that full service artist, I guess, is for a lack of a better term.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure. So somebody who, like I said, has some success, maybe they're growing, not sure what they should do next or where they should turn, and they need some support services.
Yes. You've got it. And right now, It's Possible Entertainment is tabled because we're focusing on GYSIO. It's important. Influencers are really thriving right now, and they need a lot of business support. So we want to make sure that GYSIO is in a good place before and the foundation is completely laid before we get back into production. But we're working on it. We do have a little hint out there that we're seeking artists in the Vista and North San Diego County area.
Yeah. Now, do you, for business support, is that something you can do virtually, where all over the U.S. or the world, or is it really local?
No, actually, we have clients that are in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
We have clients in Canada, so we work virtually. Yes, and we provide customer service for some of our artists as well. So, and our clients, excuse me, as well. So yes, we work virtually, and for the most part, all of our clientele, we're working virtually for them.
Got it.
Yes, we're not in any physical presence, but we have something that we do that is a requirement, and that is we meet with our client every week.
Got it.
It's important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we meet via Zoom.
Zoom. Yeah.
You've got it.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's changed? What's new? How did this work out? How did that work out? Ongoing customer support.
Yes, and for the most part, to explain their financials to them.
Got it.
Yes,
Got it.
because they have to understand their financials. Most of the time they don't. And so when they're in constant communication, it helps them to be mindful of how they're spending, what's in the budget, what's not in the budget, what a profit margin is.
Do they ever avoid those phone calls?
Actually, I think they do. But now I'm so excited because they are excited for these calls now. They have questions, and at first they didn't.
Sure. Well, that leads me into another question I had is if somebody is out there and they're just starting out, let's say they're not quite ready for GYSIO, is there any common mistakes you see or regular advice you could give somebody in that situation, maybe to keep things moving smoothly or going until they're ready for somebody like you?
Yes, I think the most common mistake that I have found is the intermingling of funds.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And it's easy to do that because you don't consciously, you say, well, it's my company.
Right.
And it's a common thing, we hear the IRS, tell us all the time, do not mix your personal funds with your business funds. Yes. But if you're an artist, you don't understand that because you are the business.
Right, right.
And so if an artist doesn't understand who they are, it's really hard to grasp that understanding. So what you do is you open up a business bank account once you've registered your business, or yourself as an artist.
You have an EIN or your appropriate number.
You have an EIN, that is correct, your appropriate number, and whatever structure you will utilize. Then you open up a bank account with that information, and anytime you're paid for your service, anytime that you go on a television show, anytime you are a brand ambassador for someone, you want to make sure that those funds go into that bank account.
Got it. So keeping separate accounts, that's one of the most common challenges you see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they'll say, you know, I didn't make that much money,
Right.
or,
Right.
you know,
I
this
didn't
is
make
my
enough to
money.
keep separate accounts.
Right.
Right.
And so they don't think that it's necessary. And you know, you'll get a 1099, so it'll make it a little challenging. If you're an LLC, it might be a little easier for your tax preparer to prepare your taxes. But if you are not receiving a 1099, it can get kind of,
Yeah.
you know, confusing.
Yeah.
But you will get one. If you're working for a network, they're going to send
You're
you a
gonna get
1099
one.
that you made over $600 within that year. You'll get a 1099. And if you gave your personal name to that company, you're going to get a 1099 in your personal name and not in the business name. So that's a common mistake. You want to give your business name
Sure.
to these companies and these networks
Yeah.
to pay you with.
Well, that makes total sense. Like in my business, I have an S corporation, right? So I run a real estate business, and I have an S corporation. I have a separate account for the S corporation. I have a separate credit card for the S corporation, and I run everything through that way. But it's still very easy. Sometimes I'm like, I paid for it out of the wrong account. So yes, I could see how that would happen.
Yes, and you know, another suggestion I give just with that process is just make sure when you set up that account, get a different color debit card than what your personal debit card is. It'll help you too.
Easy to tell the difference.
Yes.
Yeah. So are there, and you may have already answered this, I was going to ask you, so are there any, if somebody's out there and, you know, they're in that position where they're up and coming and growing, and they're, you know, maybe they're making some of these smart decisions and following your advice, any other signals or things that they could look for that maybe that when they know when they're ready to bring in an assistant or somebody to really help them?
You know when you're ready, when you're generating consistent income.
Got it.
If you're not generating consistent income, then it's going to be challenging to keep anybody on your team.
Good point.
If you,
Yeah.
in addition to that, well, how do I generate consistent income? You want to make sure if you don't have an agent, then you want to make sure that you're consistently presenting yourself to different brands and companies, just like you would if you were looking for a job in corporate America.
Got to sell yourself.
You got to
Right,
sell
right.
yourself.
Yeah.
And now, you know, it used to be that we had these artist resumes, but now you have a media kit or a press kit that you send over to these different brands and companies so that you could, you know, pitch yourself. And you want to make sure that you're doing that consistently so that you're booked, you know, throughout the year and your calendar is full. And this is how you determine when you have consistent income coming in that is superseding your current expenses.
Got it. Got it. That makes total sense. So focus on getting your name out there, focus on those things, building your connections, and then once that stuff starts to take off and continue, I guess that stuff probably reaches a critical mass at some point.
Yes.
Right, where you start getting more and more of it, and then you know you would need help with the bookkeeping and support services.
Absolutely. And if you need assistance getting there, because we can actually help you get there, we can help you generate more income if you don't have it. You just have to have the tenacity and the dedication to allowing us to assist you and to be patient with that process. Because some persons, some actors, clients, businesses, they have a running capital or some type of fund that they have put aside in order to build their business.
Sure.
You want to make sure that your bookkeeper and your tax accountant is a part of that budget.
Yeah.
Always. So you can start out. You don't have to start generating the income and then hire, but you can start out with the appropriate team members to help you.
Well, we were talking about, is there anything, if somebody's out there and they're in that position where they're a growing artist and they're running their business, right, and they're starting to generate consistent income, that's when they know, right, maybe they should bring in some assistance.
Yes, when the work is moving, that's when you, and then you, it's kind of tricky because this is it. I remember now. Professional development. If you see any seminars or anything like that, you know, where there are companies who are catering to you, make sure you go, whether it's free or $10, $15, whatever.
Learn as much as
Just
you can.
learn as much as you can on the business side. And I know that a lot of business owners don't want to handle that because we're told, hire someone to do it for you. Don't wear all the hats. You don't want to wear all the hats, but you want to be privy to a little bit of information so that, you know,
You want to know what the people wearing the hats are doing.
there you go. And it's so important. It's really important. So I would suggest in addition to once your revenue starts to grow or the income that you're receiving, I try to keep my words very, that your income that you're receiving in is growing, that you also stay consistent with professional development.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, and I would think even in my business, and most businesses are probably similar, when the business grows and I have to pull time away from growing that business or servicing the clients to do the bookkeeping and to do the ancillary tasks for me, then maybe it's time for assistance.
Absolutely. And when you're feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, a virtual assistant can go many ways. We have a couple of clients that we perform customer service for. And so that customer service entails answering the phone lines. It's responding to their social media if their marketing team is not doing that. So we kind of fill in, it's building their standard of procedures. So when they do bring someone in, here you go. Here's step 1, step 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, here's the new hire SOP, this SOP. Yes.
You've got it. So when you have someone in position to take some of those tedious tasks off your plate, you can operate more efficiently.
That makes total sense. Yeah. Are there any, like looking through your past with GYSIO, are there any particular success stories that really stand out that you go, man, we really helped that person or this person do this or do that? Any real good success stories you can share with us?
We actually have a lot, and I might get a little teary-eyed with
That's
this
okay.
because we do meet the goal of, providing the client exactly what we want them to have. And moreover, I don't know if you have read, but the foundation of all of our services is personal development.
Okay.
We operate highly in integrity. It's so important to me. I will not allow a client into my firm if they do not operate with integrity.
Got it.
I will let a client go if they are operating outside of integrity. So it's very important to us here. And one particular client, they came into the company and their transactions were all over the place.
What do you mean by that?
So that means that they were spending, and just spending because they knew they had the money. They had just entered into this contract, and the spending was all over the place. They had 3 or 4 credit cards, and they're just like going on. But what we did was we organized all of those transactions, and we categorized it for them according to their business structure. That's a key. So, and this is why it's important to have a bookkeeper, because you want to make sure that the transactions that you're expending every single day and bringing in is categorized according to the structure of your company.
Got it. So then would you actually go into, say, QuickBooks, for instance, or into somebody's chart of accounts?
Yes.
Right, and set all of that stuff up?
That's what we do. QuickBooks is one of our major platforms that we utilize to organize our clients' transactions.
Sure.
And yes, we go and we organize the chart of accounts, and we ensure that it's parallel to their tax return.
Got it.
For that business structure. And a lot of times you'll have a bookkeeper that will come in and they don't know to do that because most bookkeepers don't have a tax background.
Sure.
So they're just going to categorize, if it looks like food, it's a meal.
It's a meal. Right.
If it looks like gas, it's just fuel, and it could be travel, so some of these deductions, the way that the chart of accounts, which is, your chart of accounts is basically a list of accounts that are assets, its liabilities, and your shareholders' equity. So that's what those chart of accounts are outlined as. So expenses, income, assets. It could be I don't want to get too deep, so I don't want to run people away. But those lists are outlined that way, and so we organize that, and some of those accounts may not be, they're not parallel across the board. And what I mean by that is some accounts, I'm trying to think of an account that may, depending on your business structure, you may or may not be able to deduct a certain type of expense.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Sure.
And so
and that could vary from business to business.
It can vary from business to business depending on your structure and your operations.
Got it.
And so what we do is we clean all that up. And we did this for a particular client, and they were able to save a lot of money in their taxes. They were used to paying 10, 12, $1,000 annually, and this time they got money back. And
so just by getting their stuff in order,
like you got
by
it,
getting their stuff in
unintended.
order, when the tax person came, they were much better off at tax time.
Absolutely, and and it's so exciting. And as you can see, I'm a little bit of a nerd in this because I love it. I love to see my clients happy, and I love to see when their brain clicks when they get it. Yes. Oh, so that's what that means. Yes.
Yes.
Well,
I was going to ask you, my next question was going to be, what is your favorite part or what you do? But I think I might have found it.
That is my favorite part is when the client clicks and understands it. The biggest challenge I have with my clients is getting them to send me receipts.
Right.
Because, if you think about it, and all of it, don't get me wrong, we specialize in working performing artists, but we have clients that have retail, that are nonprofits. So, and we also specialize in the nonprofit industry, but our experience is not just with working performing artists, right? So, but the working performing artists, they could be filming out of state, and it's hard for them to keep up with those receipts.
Sure.
So we just suggest some different processes that will allow them to get us the receipts so we can properly categorize their expenses.
Got it. Solutions to help them stay on track of that.
Yep.
Got it. So then
still challenging, but yeah.
Still challenging, yeah. So then I get the impression you're a bit of an educator, kind of at heart. You have the heart of a teacher a little bit. Yeah.
You know what? You're good.
Well, I do as well. I enjoy educating and teaching, and I can just tell by the way you talk and get excited about certain things that you enjoy that part of it.
I do, and over the years when people run into me, they say you're a teacher, so that's why I say you're good. Yeah. I do. I enjoy, and actually, that is our competitive advantage over other firms.
Sure.
We do educate. In every aspect of our service. We don't just
just
do the work.
Accounting nerds coming out of math class.
Right. No, we don't do that. We try to explain and break down everything so that the client understands. So in any case, God forbid, we haven't had this to happen to us. I don't know where any wood is, but we haven't had any clients leave for any crazy reason or because we haven't done the work. But if they were to leave the firm, at least they can leave, go to another firm and have the knowledge of their accounting procedures and their bookkeeping.
Sure, because you've educated them on how things work.
Because we've educated them, yes. It's very important to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it is very confusing. In fact, I was speaking with my tax individual this morning as we come up to the end of the year, and it can be confusing if it's not what you do. And I'm pretty good with numbers to begin with, but it's still confusing.
Yeah, it can get very confusing, and there's so many deadlines and
Yes.
deadlines for different
Yes, there are.
structures, for individuals, and then you have companies and, sales tax. Am I supposed to charge sales tax? Do I need a business license? Do I not? There's
And
so
the
many
IRS
different
sends
things.
everything in triplicate. It seems like, Mike, why do I have 3 of these?
Of the same letter.
Why do I have 3 of the same letter?
Yes, they're on top of it. I get emails from the IRS almost every day, just constantly informing us of the updates and how they're staying on top of it, and the industry or groups of persons that they will focus on primarily. And all of this.
Oh, their watch list. Got it. I see. That's your watch list. Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
And most of that is coming from these influencers and gurus who are sharing partial information, and then people are acting on it and not getting the full understanding. So they're making a lot of mistakes, which is flagging audits with the IRS.
Got it. So they get an idea to do one thing or this thing, and maybe that's beneficial, but there's a whole set of other things that you have to do as well that they don't.
In order to make what's beneficial work, you've got it.
That makes total sense. Got it. Okay. So if somebody is out there, right, and they're thinking that maybe they're in a spot where they could use your services, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you and to learn more about GYSIO and about what you do?
The best thing to do, if they're interested in business and accounting, in bookkeeping, services, is you want to go to GYSIO.org.
Okay.
And everything is there. We are updating our platform,
Okay.
which I'm excited about. But any button that you can find that says, book a consultation here, you can do that. And we do have a free 30-minute consultation.
I was going to ask you that. Do you, if somebody's out there, do you offer a free consultation?
We do. We offer a free 30-minute consultation for the first time of,
Gotcha.
Of questions. Yes.
That's wonderful. Okay, so and we'll post all of these links here. So if somebody's out there, they can go to the website, learn more about the bookkeeping there. If you need an initial consultation, right, they can come in and meet with Shamelle initially for free.
Yes, and it may not be me, but you will meet with someone from our team.
Got it. Yep. Okay. Well, cool. Well, thank you very much. So those of you out there that are tuning in, if you or somebody you know around San Diego, North San Diego County is doing something cool and they could use some free marketing and some business support, please encourage them to visit the platform at www.vista411.com and hit the request to be interviewed button. Local businesses, community activities, upcoming events, nonprofits, all of those are welcome. I'd love to hear more about it. So Shamelle, thank you very much. I've learned a ton about your business. I can already think of a couple of individuals that I know that could probably use your services.
Awesome.
And I can refer out. So this is awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
I appreciate your time.
Yep. It was great to meet you.
Thank you.
Yep.